The ultimate top 20 freeware add-ons list for Microsoft Flight Sim, covering airports, aircraft, and everything in between. I made a video like this 2 years ago. We're revisiting this to see where the top add-ons in Microsoft Flight Sim can be found. Now, covering freeware add-ons on PC. Thank you for coming to watch this video. Without further delay, let us get right into it. Okay, so hello, first off, to just clarify what we're doing here, we're going through the top 20 add-ons for Microsoft Flight Sim. They are in no particular order. I've sort of sorted them into sections. Like most things in life, this list is subjective, so if you have some other add-ons that you think are better than some of those in this list, be sure to put them down below. But first off, let's kick it off with number 20. Okay, so very simple yet very effective. We've got the power cables and solar panels mod for Microsoft Flight Sim that adds, funnily enough, power cables and solar panels to the areas where they exist in real life across parts of the world in Microsoft Flight Sim. Now, it's not global coverage at the moment, so do bear that in mind. As of now, this freeware add-on covers all of Europe, most of North America, parts of South America, parts of Africa and Australia, and I do believe also Japan, adding realistic solar panels, pylons and cables to these regions across the world based on OpenStreetMap data. The creator has integrated a sort of algorithm that means that the system will not spawn in cables over airports. Not 100% guaranteed, you won't see them there, but it's pretty good. I've used it extensively, perfect for VFR flying, simple but effective, and that is why it's in this list. Moving on to a similar add-on, we've got WeLoveVFR. Now, I've featured this on my channel extensively since its release almost 2 years ago now. Adds VFR landmarks to regions across the world. Once again, it's not global coverage, although Region 1 and Region 2 do cover all of Europe and most of the Americas, parts of Africa and parts of the Middle East. I would highly recommend it. This one adds power stations, pylons, radar domes, more unique niche landmarks such as oil stacks and telecommunication masts, cranes and everything in between. Using Puffin VFR's AI, known as Puffin AI, the placement is almost always correct, and while height cannot always be guaranteed to match up to real life, if you've got a mast in your local area, it is likely that WeLoveVFR has integrated it into Microsoft Flight Sim. It's a fantastic add-on. Puffin Flight have pushed it out of the park here. It's fantastic. They've got animations as well, which is great to see, and that is why it is in this list. I highly recommend it. Moving on to a utility pushback toolbar. This is an absolute must-have, and while it is number 17 in this list, as I said, it's not really any particular order. I've just sorted them like this. This is definitely a must-have for Microsoft Flight Sim. It adds pre-plan pushback, which is definitely the highlight of this add-on, that allows you to basically go to a little map, select where you want your aircraft to be pushed back to, press enter, and then when you go and call the pushback tug, it will go to that location. So it's really good if you're on VATSIM and want to get it exact without having to rely on going outside or controlling the pushback tug 100% yourself. It also adds the ability to go to ground services and call them through the toolbar as opposed to air traffic control. And aircraft dependent, it also allows you to open and close most doors. It is a must-have if you fly any sort of airliner. Works with the Phoenix A320 and PNDG 737, although do bear in mind it does have some compatibility issues with the Phoenix A320, although I haven't experienced them myself, the Phoenix team are aware. It's a fantastic add-on, I highly recommend it. Moving on to number 16 in this list, we've got Floyd's Epic Clouds. This adds around 12 cloud presets into Microsoft Flight Sim in the weather menu. They're some of the best I've seen. It's a nice add-on to just leave there and forget about and use when you want to. All the cloud presets look stunning. You get 3-layer clouds, clouds that replicate storm weather. It is marvellous, highly recommended. Simple but effective, and that's going to be a theme of this video. Now, moving over to some scenery, we've got 3 add-ons in this video that cover airport scenery, so we'll kick it off with Duxford Airport, or Duxford Airfield I should say, a former RAF airfield. Used up until the 60s by the Royal Air Force, this aerodrome soon became one of the biggest museums in the world. Of course, focusing on aviation, incorporating Duxford's fantastic aviation past into the museum, Imperial War Museum Duxford is a must visit for any aviators. Luckily, even if you live on the other side of the world, you can do it in Microsoft Flight Sim now with what I think is one of the best bits of freeware scenery out there. But with that, let us move over to some more scenery. Sergio del Rozzio's airports. Now this isn't just one airport, this developer has been consistent with making some of the best airports I've seen in Microsoft Flight Sim. From up in Barrow in Alaska to St. Moritz, where you should be heading if the snow falls. If you get that music reference, do leave it in the comments. I'm very impressed. Sergio del Rozzio leaves no detail behind. Highly recommended, and as you've seen on the screen, they do all look fantastic. Especially when paired with Floyd's epic clouds. It is a match made in heaven. Moving over to the final bits of scenery in this video, NZA Airports. This development team make freeware and payware airports for Microsoft Flight Sim. You can find most, if not all, of their freeware airports, some of which I've linked in the description below, across Australia and New Zealand. Their attention to detail is immaculate. They use custom models, so you do need to download a custom model package, but trust me, it is 100% worth it. If you fly in the most beautiful parts of the world, Australia and New Zealand, you must have some NZA airports in your collection. Now for the 8th add-on in this list, we've got SkyDolly, a replay tool which once again I've featured extensively on my channel. It is by far the best freeware replay tool out there, and it extends much further than just being able to record your flight and watch it back. You can do some fun things like making formations, so have aircraft using data from the replay tool spawn in next to you to make some fantastic formations. SkyDolly, at its core, is the best replay tool for free for Microsoft Flight Sim because it's so smooth. Like all replay tools for Microsoft Flight Sim, they're never 100% perfect, but this is your best bet. Moving on, a very simple add-on, but very effective, No Toolbar. This removes the toolbar icon, the little white stripe that pops up at the top of your screen whenever you move your mouse, from Microsoft Flight Sim. It doesn't impede on the performance or anything, it just gets rid of it. This allows you to more conveniently take screenshots and videos without that annoying white stripe getting in the way. It's as simple as that, a very effective add-on. Pop it in your folder, Bob's your uncle, it's gone. Now moving over to the 10th add-on in this list, Volanta. Volanta has been made by Orbex and it is the best flight tracker out there. It allows you to keep track of the flights you've flown, connecting to Microsoft Flight Sim via SimConnect. It will track your aircraft across the world and allow you to see the flights you've flown on Microsoft Flight Sim ever since you installed Volanta. Volanta is sort of a social media for flight simulation as well. You can add friends, allow them to see the flights you've done, compare statistics, that sort of thing. You're of course able to track how good your landings were, tick off countries you've gone around the world, complete missions and even create parties with your friends. But I could talk about it all day, so let us move over to the 11th add-on in this list. By far one of the best, FSLTL. For those of you who don't know, this is an AI traffic solution. You can download it via the fly-by-wire installer that I've linked down below. It is the best AI traffic solution for Microsoft Flight Sim, and there have been a few payware or freeware, but this definitely takes top spot. Recently, it's been fully integrated into Microsoft Flight Sim, so the only thing you need to do with FSLTL is start the application, then you can just head into Microsoft Flight Sim's toolbar and control it from there. While it is a pretty performance heavy add-on, you can put some nice limits in as well that reduce the hit it has on your performance if you're willing to see slightly fewer aircraft. I've used it all the time. If you're like me and prefer to fly offline, it is a great solution to make your skies feel a bit less lonely. Moving over to some aircraft now, we've got the 172 Enhancement, or to be more precise, the Cessna 172 SP Skyhawk AS1000 Improvement mod. Made by Bagaloo, this is a fantastic add-on that mods Asobo's Cessna 172 SP Skyhawk. This mod allows you to do stuff like open the doors, open the windows, and use the sun visors. But it also has some pretty cool features, such as WorkingTitle's G1000 mod being integrated by default. It's also got state saving as well, which means that if you press some switches and then turn off Microsoft Flight Sim and load back into this aircraft, if you left your lights on, you'll come back to the aircraft with its lights on when you come back later in the day. It doesn't just stop there. From wheel chocks to tie downs to covers to pilot and co-pilot to passengers to cargo configurations, it's an add-on that will really add some realism to one of the workhorses of the civil aviation world, and that's why it's in this list. Whenever WorkingTitle is integrated into an aircraft, it already feels so much more realistic. The only thing with this add-on is that if you have got the Heavy Division 787XH installed, this product will not work properly with Microsoft Flight Sim. There is a few incompatible mods here, so make sure you read that on the website. Moving over to the only helicopter in this list, where would we be in Microsoft Flight Sim without the hype performance group Airbus H135? Of course, the first helicopter to be released for Microsoft Flight Sim. This wonderful bit of freeware continues to see some great improvements. While the hype group have released their payware Airbus H145, the H135 still offers some great helicopter flying. Of course, we've seen some helicopters introduced into Microsoft Flight Sim with Sim Update 11, but mark my words, the H135, in my opinion anyway, still beats them. And you can download it now via the Hype Operations Center, which there is a link for down below. The first helicopter for Microsoft Flight Sim, definitely one of the best. Now this is an add-on that, to be fair, many of you may already have in your hangar, but it definitely deserves a place in this list, simply put because it is awesome and continues to see some improvements despite the fact it's been released for almost over a month now. Aeroplane Heaven's DC-3, of course, this wonderful Douglas aircraft was introduced into Microsoft Flight Sim as part of Sim Update 11 or the 40th anniversary update. But it's still seen some good fixes since then, and if you want to even take it a step further, on PC you can of course download the enhancement pack, and then you can even go onto flightsim.to and download another enhancement pack to make it even better. But to be perfectly honest, I think pretty much vanilla, the Aeroplane Heaven DC-3 is certainly worthy of being in this list. The sounds are beautiful, the modelling is beautiful, the cockpit is fantastically recreated in Microsoft Flight Sim. This is a must-have if you love flying vintage birds. Moving over to a very much more modern aircraft, Headwind with that A330-900Neo. Now this add-on has once again featured extensively on my channel for good reason. Headwind have done a fantastic job with the A330-900Neo. This freeware product receives constant updates, meaning they're always working on it, and that is admirable enough. It of course incorporates fly-by-wire systems and was recently updated to work properly with Sim Update 11. Being one of the newest Airbus aircraft in Microsoft Flight Sim, it's modern, it looks fantastic inside and out, and a nice collection of liveries are included, including the controversial Condor stripes. Moving over to the final 5 add-ons in this list. You knew it was coming, it's the IniSimulations Airbus A310, which once again was introduced in Microsoft Flight Sim as part of Sim Update 11 or the 40th anniversary update. This aircraft has got to be one of my favourite in this list, that of course is not really ranked in any particular order. A vintage Airbus with a yoke, how can you go wrong? Some really good system modelling, admittedly it didn't have the best start, it's still not 100% perfect now, but once again, what stands out here is that the team continue to work on it. It hasn't just been released and forgotten about, and when an add-on receives that sort of support, it almost never fails. If you like flying winter ops across Canada, get the Air Transat livery. The only thing I would say, and if you're watching this on Xbox, this is more of a PC video, but what I would say is that the IniBuilds or IniSimulations A310 of course isn't as good on Xbox as it is on PC. Yet that may change when WASM support comes over. But it's a highly recommended freeware aircraft for Microsoft Flight Sim. Now WorkingTitle, while I was going to include WorkingTitle's individual avionics improvements into this video. When I was planning out this video, the AAU Avionics and Aircraft Update 1 was released as beta for Microsoft Flight Sim. While this update will be coming out in January, it gives us basically full access of the add-ons that WorkingTitle are adding into Microsoft Flight Sim. So I'm not just going to feature WorkingTitle's individual add-ons separately, because we're getting a more systematic approach from WorkingTitle. They go through and basically update all of the Garmin avionics from the G1000 to the G3000, G530 and G430 in Microsoft Flight Sim, and that of course covers a wide range of aircraft from the aforementioned Cessna 172 all the way up to the Cessna Citation Longitude. If you would like to see more about the AAU update, check out my extensive video on it here, but WorkingTitle definitely deserve a place in the top 20 add-ons for Microsoft Flight Sim list, not only on an individual add-on basis, but their overall contribution to aircraft on Microsoft Flight Sim. If you'd like to take the risk and download AAU's beta, you can see it for yourself. If not, do check out some of WorkingTitle's separate products, the G1000 and the G3000 to name a few. We're now down to the last three, and quite unsurprisingly, I don't think these have changed since when I did the video 2 years ago. So we've got the Heavy Division 787 Improvement mod. Now this does improve a payware aircraft for Microsoft Flight Sim, of course. The 787 included as part of the Premium Deluxe update. But they are working on a standalone 787, so if you're more curious about that, do check out my video on it. You can see a link on the top of your screen now. Aside from that, the Heavy Division 787X Improvement mod overhauls parts of the 787, and while it has been limited in the past by Asobo locks, we're now seeing the very best of the Heavy Division team. Initially it started out as just IRS alignment being added into the 787, but we've now seen stuff like improved LNAV and VNAV, an overhauled MCDU, an overhauled FMC, and improved sounds. It's a highly recommended product if you'd like to improve your Microsoft Flight Sim 787 experience. Moving over to the Salty 747 Improvement mod, of course this improves a default aircraft, the Boeing 787-8 Intercontinental. It's been out for a while now, and you can get it through the fly-by-wire installer, either selecting the stable or development version. With constant updates once again, this is an ongoing battle to improve the default 747, but blast me, it has paid off. Once again, improved LNAV and VNAV, an overhauled FMC, IRS integration, improved sounds, improved flight model. The list is really endless. Do go check it out. It's free at the end of the day, so there's really no excuse here. And finally, where would we be in Microsoft Flight Sim without the fly-by-wire simulations team and their A320NX? This project has been extensive. The team have been working consistently, and this freeware add-on for Microsoft Flight Sim has just got better and better. Not only is it a fantastic add-on on its own, I'm sure many of you are familiar with it, and if you're not, have you been living under a rock? It also shows what should be the future of flight simulation, when you get strong-willed individuals coming together and forming open source, unbureaucratic development teams, and they're using their passion as opposed to an endless chase for money, Captain Sim. Then you get stuff like this. I don't really need to talk much about the A320NX. This does represent the very best of flight simulation, overhauling the default A320 introduced with Microsoft Flight Sim upon release in 2020. That aircraft's pretty much now unrecognisable. I don't think anyone on PC who's flown the A320 will have flown the default one for a very long time. The improvement list of the fly-by-wire A320 is almost endless. Every single feature of this aircraft has seen some sort of update, and they're showing no sign of slowing down, and for that simple reason it's why it's made number 1 on this list. Although it's not in any particular order, I think I can still say after 2.5 years of Microsoft Flight Sim being out and well over 2 years of the fly-by-wire A320 being out, I can safely say this is the best add-on out there. In spite of all the other fantastic ones, this represents something that's much bigger than just an A320. And on that note guys, thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this top 20 add-on video. What did you think? Have I been unfair? Should I have included something else? Or is this list pretty much perfect? I know it will be somewhere in the middle. Thank you so much for watching guys, I hope you've enjoyed. If you have, be sure to like, comment and subscribe. Check out my Amazon affiliate links down below for all the stuff I used to fly, film and edit. You can also find my social media links down below, from Instagram to Discord, so if you want to alert me to something or share some great Microsoft Flight Sim news, do connect with me on there. Have a great one guys, bye bye.